Hey everyone, welcome to John Talks Indian Cinema. I am your host, the Indian Cine-MANIAC, back with another 10ish minute review. And we're going off the recommended list. I've been wanting to watch this for a while, and I needed to watch something a little bit lighter and laugh a little bit. And I watched the trailer for this, and it looked pretty crazy, so I wanted to watch it. So, the film that I am watching, based on my recommendation, is Madgaon Express from 2024. This is a this is a pretty funny film, and it definitely, for me, it had a bunch of different vibes to it. A little Three Idiots, a little bit of a Hangover. There was another one with Amir Khan with three friends. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it had that vibe too. But um, the humor ramped up. That's why it reminded me a lot of The Hangover more than anything else, because it was really over the top humor, which I liked. It was directed by Kunal Kemu, who actually, I don't know what else he's directed, but I've seen him in Goa Goa Gone. He played Hardik. So that was kind of interesting. It stars Divyendu Sharma, who I loved in Mirzapur. And he was awful in that show. And in this film, he's so different than that character. Like opposite ends of the planet, but very funny. Pratik Gandhi, who I don't think I've seen in anything. Avinash Tiwary, who I've seen in Bulbbul. Nora Fetehi, who was a dancer in Stree. I can't believe I don't remember her because she's a good looking girl. Upendra Limaye, who was in Animal, who was very funny in this. Okay, so the story. The story is about three friends since elementary school, right? Early school. And right at the beginning they start showing them at a dance. And that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the movie, what happens. Um and I'll try to do this. I mean, it's not like you can't spoil this film. It's not that type of film. But there's stuff that happens that's very funny. And every time, the other thing about this film, every time they did something that you would consider almost serious, something would happen that takes it right out of that realm and into the comedy realm, which I appreciated. So they start with this when they're kids, and then they're talking about going to Goa for vacation. That's how it starts, and then it jumps from 2006, 2010, 2011, 2013. Then it ultimately ends up in 2015, where the characters all have established themselves. Like Danush is working for Pizza Planet, which is a call out to Toy Story, because Pizza Planet is in Pixar films. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Pratik, that's his character's name, played by Pratik. He's kind of a mama's boy, always using hand sanitizer. Now you find out some things about him too later on, that he's not quite the innocent. Ayush is the good-looking guy trying to find love, and he finds it on the internet. Then there's Tasha, played by Nora, who is gorgeous, but not really trustworthy. And then there are the two bosses, Mendoza, who I thought was hilarious, played by Upendra, and Kanchan, played by Chaya Kadan, who's head of a an all woman gang. So the story is how they finally, after all these years, they get together, and Danush's character, Danush, has been lying all along. In fact, he photoshops himself with celebrities like Salman Khan, and puts it out on the internet, and he gets all these likes and everything. So everyone thinks he's a millionaire. Well, it ends up he's living at home with his dad, and his dad wants to kick him out because he can't hold a job. So he is the other two have gotten successful, but they decide they're going to get together. And first they want to go to Mumbai to see him in his penthouse. So he freaks out and he goes, "Hey, let's go to Goa, like we always talked about." And he says, "Let's go like we were in college," because they're all rich. So they could fly there, they could stay at a beautiful place, but he talks them into going low rent. So they take the Madgaon Express, which is a train from Mumbai to Goa, which is a 10-hour trip, by the way. So through the course of this trip, through the course of bags getting switched, they end up in Goa with uh, in a room that was a drug dealer's room. And in this room is a bed, and they have this fight, and the bed collapses, and under the mattress is this cocaine. And one of the funniest scenes in the film is when one of the guys gets thrown into the cocaine and he's covered in it, right? Pratik. And now he's been uptight and he's always using the hand sanitizer. He's afraid of germs. He's got to take all kinds of medication. Well, he gets this coke on him. All of a sudden, he switches and becomes this like crazy guy, right? Aggressive, and he's covered in this stuff. Very, very funny scene, and they're trying to figure it out. So it ends up they got someone else's drugs. So the movie basically is once they get to Goa, how do they not get killed by this gang, by gangs that are all involved? The female gang, Mendoza's gang, with this guy, Dr. Danny, who helps him out from the cocaine overdose, but it could be something else. And that's really what the story's about. How do they get out of it? Can they benefit from it? And do the secrets come out of each one of them? And they do. As the film progresses, you find out something about them that you didn't know. And I won't spoil that if you haven't seen it. But it's funny. It's really, really funny. Um, and they also do an interesting thing where they did a lot of filming with drones. You could tell they were drones. When they're driving, the drones kind of following them. There was a lot of that. And I'll give you something I mentioned earlier, like to do something serious and then they do something goofy. Like there's a scene where Tasha is going to kiss Ayush because he saved her, right? And she's on his lap and they go to just about to kiss and the door flies open and it's Danush and uh, Ayush stands up. She gets thrown onto the coffee table and smashes the coffee table. They do that a lot in this film where something serious is followed by something really goofy. And I like that. I appreciated that. They never wanted to get too serious. And there's also Mendoza. When Mendoza's introduced, he walks in this big warehouse and there's four guys hanging upside down. And he's going to question them about the drugs getting stolen or the money. I don't know if it was the money or the drugs. I think it might have been the money. So he's intimidating, right? All of a sudden, he takes off his jacket. He takes his stuff out of his pocket. I'm going, oh, he's going to blow these guys' heads off, right? No, instead, what he does is he stands on his head so he can talk face to face with them. Very funny. And I'm like that. Okay, so that was funny, right? So he asks the guys some questions. They answer it. And they're looking for a response for him, but he doesn't respond. So he's got like 20 guys behind him. Hey, boss, you okay? You okay? All of a sudden, he kind of teeters over, like all the blood rushed to his head, and it was so funny. So that guy was really funny in this. And it's not it's comic. It's not violent. I mean, they do some violent things in this, but it's all done with humor. Even the bad guys are funny. Like the two bosses, the female boss and Mendoza, they were married. So the female boss wants to get revenge on him because he ended up with a younger girl and the younger girl left him because there's one scene where there was he's lying in bed, the Don. He's the Don now, remember this. And all of a sudden he feels something under the covers. He pulls the sheets back a la the Godfather, and there's a chicken with its head cut off. That's right out of the Godfather. Again, very funny. So she leaves, never to be seen again. Um, But I thought, I thought it was really funny. And Go is beautiful, and they did some dance numbers on the beach, which was beautiful. I'll get into that later on. Uh, but it was, yeah, I really like the story. I'm going to give the story a 4. Funny, goofy. If you like that kind of stuff, if you want to shut off half your brain while watching a film, this one will do it fair. And I was laughing out loud on some of the scenes. So that's how I feel about that. The performances, I thought the performances were really good. The guys were really funny. I mean, they had good camaraderie. Um, I thought uh, Divyendu, again, based on what I've seen him do in Mirzapur, was just great. He was just so funny. Um, Even when things were going bad, he was still funny. And he really was. I thought he was the best one out of the 3, but they were all good. Like when the guy was coked up, he was hilarious. He was hilarious. And the 2 Dons were funny. So I'm going to give the performances a 4. I love comedy, and like the great actor said, dying is easy, comedy is hard. And it wasn't silly, over the top like some of the 90s films that I've watched. But it wasn't subtle humor. So I'm going to give it a 4. Now the music, I really liked the music in this, and there was a lot of numbers in it. The first song is when they were kids and they're dancing, and something happens when the song ends. That was very funny. I mentioned it earlier. It kind of sets the tone for the rest of the movie. But there's the first really big production number is after they take drugs. So they're at a bar, and a guy gives them, I don't know what they were. They look like, I don't know if they were pills or like gummies or something, but all 3 of them take it, and they're all sitting there. All of a sudden, this animated line goes around them. And now it goes into this giant dance number with animated stuff because they're all stoned. Very funny, very funny. Second song, he meets Nora for the first time and pictures himself getting married. I thought that was cute. Um, I don't have the third song. Why don't I have the third song? Okay, the fourth song, he escapes Mendoza. That's when he saves Tasha, and they're falling in love. There's a song about that. And the biggest song is in the final credits. Big production number with the entire cast, except I don't remember seeing Pratik. I saw everyone else, so I don't think he was in that final number, but it was a good number. I liked it. So I really liked the music in this. It's very catchy. And although some of it was like out of left field, it kind of fit the tone of the movie that they would do that. That's why it did not bother me. And they were catchy too. So I'm going to give the songs a 4. So my verdict on this film, a funny, laugh out loud, I thought, my opinion, I'm going to give it a 4. And I'll tell you, maybe I'm grading it a little higher than I should because I've seen so many just serious, dark movies that it was so nice to watch something that was just so screwy. Uh, so I loved it. I'm smiling even thinking about it. And this might be a movie that I'm going to tell some of my friends who don't watch Indian films. I go, look, if you want to watch one, watch this one for a comedy. I think you'll like this. It was a very contemporary kind of Western feel to it, if I can dare say that. But it definitely had a hangover feel to it. So let me know what you guys think if you saw this. Let me know what you think in the comment section, or if you haven't and watch it, because I didn't really spoil it. After you watch it, let me know what you think. A good film, good performances, great music. Okay. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. And that's all I have. We'll talk to you soon on John Talks Indian Cinema with another 10ish minute review. Thanks for watching, everybody.
हर दिल की अपनी ही ताल है, अपना ही एक राग है। हर दिल की अपनी धड़कने, अपनी ही एक आग है। जज्बात पिघले पिघले